GCOM. Baba o, Oluwada Baba.
Inú mi dùn pé ẹ wà ń bí fún ọmọ yín, ọmọ wa. Àì pẹ́ẹ́pẹ́ẹ́pẹ́ ọmọ tí ẹ torí ẹ̀ wá dá lọ́la náà pẹ́ẹ́pẹ́. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, if I'm saying things that are not in logical order, you will have to forgive me. The first thing I want to say is that be wiser that in Yoruba land, attending the Interaction Council meeting, when I received Dele's invitation card, putting me as lecturer and giving me a topic of how to end poverty in Africa. Really, maybe it was my own misunderstanding or your own improper briefing. When you came, you invited me, and I agreed. Until I got your invitation in writing and a card, practically a card, my telephone, I did not realize that you also want me to give a lecture. So when I got an invitation and I saw lecture, I thought, what should I do? Was Dele pulling a fast pan on me? My first reaction was to call you and tell you, Dele, I've received your invitation. But when you came to see me, it was not an invitation, or is it me that hadn't got it right? Then, while I was still debating in my mind what exactly to do, I looked at the card again, and I saw that my brother, former President Jonas, was supposed to be special guest of well, why giving me the hard task? I'm giving President Jonathan the soft, pleasurable task. I didn't know why. But looking at the card, I saw that Ruben Abat was going to be host. I mean, what did you call him on the card? You call him host. I said, why should I have to give the lecture when Ruben Abat, who is in the media and whose job is to talk, is not given the task of giving the lecture? So I smell rat. I said to myself, maybe Ruben Abat, and knowing Ruben as well as I do. Well, we also find in here, Lord. Governor Cabo, ìjọ mẹ́ta ló fi ju Dele lọ, ayọ̀ kan nú ẹ̀ nítorí ó léèdì. Ìjọ méjì, tó ìdọ̀bálẹ̀ mẹ́ta mo pé kó máa fún ẹ, àwọn àṣọ di méjì. Dele, take note. Dele about it. And even when you heard about it here not too long ago, you could see that it could have been a conspirator with Dele in getting me here. When I took a look at the topic of the lecture, I shook my head in disagreement. How do you end? Yes, I will deliberate together mentally on ending hunger. Hunger is hunger. And you either have your stomach filled and you are satisfied, or you have your stomach empty and you are hungry. While about they refer to what you may call my CV, and know something about hunger and poverty. And he was right. I was born and bred in a village. And Yoruba man sọ wípé atapata de, which is a man who actually had difficulty in his upbringing. And I used to say, in my own case, I am atere fonde because any Torah pattern is still better than the one who come out of Orofo. So my background, my upbringing was in a village where there isn't much to talk about. But we were poor, but in the village, but we were not hungry. That very important. As at that time, we were poor in the village, because almost everybody was a farmer. And the first thing you do as a farmer is to provide for your family. We were poor, but we were not. Balance or no balance, we had food. We filled our stomach. And our case is like the case of the Brazilian woman was a devoted church goer. I think she was a poor woman. But her dress was always very well done, very well dressed, very neat. But that. So the pastor came and mounted the pulpit. Amadua, Ishite Monso, Pastor Tiako. And the pastor then opened up the holy, holy, holy Lord God Almighty. And Mama Saru got up and say, holy, holy, Betty clean. That is, he thought that the first pastor was referring to her dress, which has many holes in it. And then he got up and said, Pastor, holy, holy, Betty clean. So we were poor, really. But the one. So the holy, holy, Betty clean. We were poor. Beings are born without certain innate ability, which must be developed for personal, family, community, and national enhancement and contribution. It is when the innate ability that God has given to you, that we have it in the Bible. We are not equally talented. We are not equally endowed. But there's nobody without one form of ability for the other. The opportunity to develop those abilities also determine whether you are poor or you are not poor. Now, therefore, I go to the beginning of the day of life, which becomes rich or poor, or stomach, which becomes filled or empty. And what is it? The beginning is first security of life. That you are able to live security and protection of life. Before you talk of food or poverty, you have to be able to live. And that is the first thing. Then, of course, part of being able to live is to have food security. Food, and I will even add food security and nutrition security. Very important. After being able to live. Then, what I said earlier, education is the basic instrument and the basis for individual cognitive development, skill acquisition, empowerment, employment, and wealth creation and generation. Education is fundamental. Now, it is the first and most potent instrument to tackle and banish poverty. Yet, as it is for an individual, it is also for a family, a community, and a nation. First, we must ensure that there's no lack of education. Lack of education for a child gives that child every high probability of being abjectly poor and falling into hunger. Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, let me conclude on my strong conviction and equally on strong body. With integrity, discipline, good governance, elimination of change. Now comes the strong warning. If we don't take up the responsibility to take care of educating the uneducated and integrating them into constructive, productive, and gainfully engage them within the society, the uneducated and the unemployed will take care of all as complacently as they can make it. We are all sitting on kegs of gunpowder. To be forewarned is to be forearmed. We should create no room for the poor and the hungry, because in desperation their fury will be uncontrollable. The good news, though, is that God has endowed us with adequate resources in Nigeria to have no abject war and chronic hunger among us. So are many other countries in Africa that are also richly endowed. 60% of the cobalt, and for if we are talking of battery car and all that, you need cobalt. 60% of the cobalt deposit in the world is in DRC. There's a neighbor of DRC that has no cobalt and is exporter of cobalt. There's a country, neighbor of DRC, that didn't have gold. It has 8 gold refineries. And that country, DRC, is still regarded as one of the poorest countries in Africa. Now, how can that be? If all things are right. I was first in DRC on the 1st of October 1960 as a young officer under the UN peacekeeping. In 2009, I was sent to DRC again by Ban Ki-moon, and I was there for 18 months just to see what is going on. The problem of DRC in 1960 was still there in 2009, and the problem of DRC in 1960 and 2009 are even more there today. Now, I give that as a typical example. You can take any other country. They will be more or less in the same situation. It may be just a little bit different. So, what am I saying? What am I saying is simple. That leadership matter. To turn God resources to our benefit. Thank you.
Now is when I will ask for another round of applause for Chief Olusegun Obasanjo. Some people are not clapping. Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, GCFR, GCON. Well, while I was standing there, at some point my legs, I kept looking at Mama and I was this is an old man and he is standing here for almost an hour and he wasn't showing any sign of fatigue. Please, another round of applause for him. I pray that when you all go old like that, you will still be very strong and agile as Kábíyèsí ní ọ̀ní ọ̀fẹ́fẹ́ ọ̀ní òrìṣà ọ̀jàjà ní sẹ́yìn